Alright, so we've talked about employee responsibility, we've talked about employee safety, okay? And before that, we talked about employability skills, workplace communication, alright? So we've talked about all of these things that need to happen in the workplace. Skills that you need to have. Somebody give me an example of an employability skill. Yes, Kate?
Responsible.
Responsible. Anybody else? Matthew?
Punctual.
Punctual. Okay. Somebody give me another one. Looking at my watch. Time management. Okay, time management's a good one. Positive work ethic. Some of the employability skills we've talked about. Okay. You may not remember, but it was on one of the slides and we talked about what is possibly the most important skill in the workplace that you do daily. Everybody needs to have strong blank skills, so listening, communication. Okay, communication is possibly the most important skill. Alright, and we talked about all those because now we're going to translate them into workplace policies and procedures. So, the soft skills we talked about, workplace communication, having strong work ethic, having a diverse workplace, which we talked about some of the acts to make sure that, the ADA, the Civil Rights Act. Companies have policies and procedures to kind of help prevent problems, and then also that they can go back to and look if a problem arises and see how they're going to deal with it. Okay? So, and we're about to do our group project, and you're going to make your own company, all right, and you're going to create policies and procedures for your company, all right. And here is the criteria that I want you to use when you're making it. Okay, so a policy should be clear and concise. It shouldn't be like a gray area. It needs to be clear and concise, so it's really not questioned. Detailed and relevant. Practiced by all employees, communicated and reviewed frequently, and communicated through multiple channels. Alright? What it's talking about with practiced by all employees, I can't hold everybody in here to a standard, a policy and procedure, except for Lindsay. Okay? That's not fair. It's not right. Okay? Everybody has to do it, even if I don't like all of you guys and I like Lindsay. Okay? She's the only person I like in here. I care less about the rest of you. I still got to make sure she's doing the policies and procedures. Okay? Communicated and reviewed frequently. I would say that some workplaces struggle with that. A lot of times they may only go over their policies and procedures at the beginning, right when you're hired in your orientation meeting or something like that. But it's good to communicate those policies and procedures frequently and also review them, because sometimes you may need to do what? When you're reviewing a policy or procedure, what would you need to do possibly?
Make changes.
Make changes. Add a policy, take a policy out. Just like we did here with the handbook, right? What's the policy we just changed here? Vaping, right? Okay. We just changed that policy in the handbook. It was reviewed and changed. Alright? So, and communicate through multiple channels is you don't just need to hear it from your boss. It may need to be from a video, some sort of infographic on the wall, whatever it may be. You want people to see it and understand that it is the policy and the procedure. Okay? And here are some of the ethical and legal violations that those policies and procedures are really used to make sure that these do not occur. Okay? Sexual harassment, discrimination based on age, race, sex, ethnicity, national origin, religion, pregnancy, etc. Okay? And discrimination based on disability, which we talked about, is covered in the what? ADA. Okay? ADA. Okay? They're also, all those things are covered in the Civil Rights Act, and they are enforced by the EEOC. Okay? Strategies to address violations of a policy or procedure. Implementing a company policy concerning ethical and legal violations stated clearly in the employee handbook. Allow for reporting procedures of violations to be known to all employees. Entail taking immediate action when violation comes to an employer's attention. Alright? Who in here has ever read the handbook that you get from school? Okay, we got a few, being honest, alright? Being honest about it. Okay, so, whenever you get in trouble when you go see Mr. Freeman, and he says, did you know that you were not supposed to do this? And you could say, I had no idea I wasn't supposed to wear earrings. I have no idea that I wasn't supposed to have my nose ring in. Well, if you would have read the handbook, it was stated in the handbook, right? Okay? So, that's another thing that it's part of the employer responsibility, that if it's not a policy or procedure, then you legitimately have a claim, I did not know I couldn't do this. It's not stated clearly in this handbook. It doesn't tell me that I couldn't do it. Alright? Now, talking about sexual harassment, okay, involves the making of unwanted, obscene remarks or sexual advances such as referring to a person's physical appearance, inappropriate touching, requesting inappropriate actions, and sending pictures or literature of a sexual nature. Okay? You guys have probably seen this on the news over the past couple of years. It's always been a no-no, but it's really became more prevalent in the past few years. Okay? Don't do it. Not at the workplace. Shouldn't do it anyways. Alright? But you are putting your job at risk. And it could also lead to a lawsuit, civil or criminal. Okay? Here's some of the policies that workplaces may have. Zero tolerance, clear definition, complaint procedure, confidentiality, and training. And we're about to hit on confidentiality. We've talked about the Fair Labor Standard Act already. And here's the confidentiality policy. Okay? It's created by the company CEO, owner, or anyone responsible within the business. Okay? It needs to be set in order to clarify how confidential data and information should be handled. It is translated into a legal document signed by employer and employee, and states there is no implied license to the technology or information granted to the employee. Alright? What this means is, maybe you have experienced sexual harassment in the workplace, okay? And you go and there is a procedure that you need to go through. Maybe you need to go see your supervisor, you need to have it detailed, and give them a letter talking about the situation that happened. Maybe that's the procedure. Alright? Your supervisor is now contains some confidential information, and he can't talk about it with anybody other than what's listed in the procedure. Maybe he has to take it to HR, maybe he has to take it to his direct superior, whatever it is, it's confidential information and can't be discussed. Alright? And here are what can happen to breach of confidentiality consequences: termination, lawsuit damages, criminal charges, and a negative reputation. It's kind of like, I'll take it all the way back to grade school. You tell your best friend a secret, you don't want them to do what? Tell their secret, right? Okay? And if they tell their secret, if they tell your secret, did their reputation take a hit with you, their friendship? Most of the times, yeah, you probably get over it. But if you're having confidentiality problems, it can cause a negative reputation. Okay? Alright. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to group up. Alright? We'll probably go 4 here. Let's go 3 there. Katie, you work with Rusty and Easton. You 3, and Kurt, you 4 back there. Or actually, let's go you 4 and you 3. Ben, Isaiah, and Kurt. Alright? And here's what we're going to do. Listen up. Alright? In Google Classroom, you'll see the defining workplace policies and procedures. Okay? I need one person to write it down. Okay? Whatever policies and procedures you have. And actually, I'll pull it up right here. Yes. No, you do not all have to turn it in. Yes. Alright. Alright, listen up. Hang on. Okay? So, what I want you to do is look up on the internet at company handbooks so you can have some ideas on what you want to do. Alright? Your group, make a fictional company. It can be called whatever as long as it's appropriate. Alright? And then you're going to include no less than 15 policies. Okay? Be creative. Alright? And for example, these 4 are working together. Maybe Shelby is the one who's typing it out. She'll be the only one who turns it into Google Classroom, but it will have Liz, JC's, and Lindsay's name on it. Okay? That way I know you participated and you were part of that group. Alright? Anybody have any questions?
Can I ask one for Katie because she doesn't want to work with me?
Sure, that's fine. Anybody else?
No, it's-
Okay, hey, we got about
so I-
30 minutes to do this, and then we're gonna talk about it. Alright?